इतना सा फर्क है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
A very good afternoon to all the dear friends, and we Franchise India teams welcomes each one of you to our business series. This is Business Opportunity Over Chai. This is the digital representation of the business opportunity which we have got for you, so that you digitally interact with the brand representative founders and talk to them digitally. Franchise India is a brand which is providing day in, day out, all the investors, business solutions and franchise solutions. We welcome management team of Franchise India, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am. During the course of the webinar, they'll be sharing their insights, their viewpoints with each one of us. Yes, the brand which we are representing for each one of you is ViScan Diagnostic. The brand, which is it's a leading dental diagnostic brand established in 2017 in Delhi. They are currently operational with 17 centers. And today we have invited Dr. Shrilika. She's a founder and she's a co-founder and managing director at this change. Thank you so much, Shrilika, for joining in today. Welcome to this particular webinar where we have invited our investors to digitally interact with you and to understand your business model. So maybe request you to have a presentation from your side. And obviously we really wish you to start with the kind of the journey you have taken under this brand. Over to you.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. I'm Dr. Shilika Leela Ramani, and to introduce myself, I'm a dentist by qualification. I have done my dentistry at the graduate level, post which I went on to work and get a good amount of experience in the industry, in the dental equipment industry, in the dental implant industry. I have a cumulative experience of around 6 years now, and ViScan started in 2017. So it was just an idea at that point. Dental diagnostics was, something that was unheard of in India. But we, kind of pushed forward the concept, and we were able to establish center after center because of the growing demand, because of the lack of availability, and because the opportunity is so, staring us staring down a barrel at us, that this is where the future is for dentistry, we had to grab it. And when you talk about medicine, when you talk about any sort of surgery, any sort of treatment, I don't think anyone in the audience would have ever been prescribed a surgery or a treatment without the relevant diagnostic tests, even as simple as a CBC or your blood sugar, all of that. But in dentistry, for some reason, it is not as prevalent, and dentists themselves are becoming more and more aware right now in terms of the importance of diagnostic procedures for dentistry. At the end of the day, we must remember that BDS, the course which even I have studied, is Bachelor's of Dental Surgery, because dentistry is never just a prescription. Dentistry is always an operation or a surgery, and without the relevant diagnostic tests, there are loads of complications that can occur. We can end up doing more harm than good. So that's of course the basic idea of where ViScan came from. And I will walk you through our journey and how and why and what exactly we do during the presentation. Should I start the presentation, Archana?
Yes, we can start.
All right, perfect. Okay, I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes, thank you. We can see that. Thanks.
Okay. So firstly, a very warm welcome to the largest emerging dental diagnostic chain in India. And it gives us a great sense of satisfaction and happiness to know that we are a niche and we are expanding. And today we can proudly call ourselves the largest chain in India with 17 dental diagnostic centers. All right. So first, I'm just going to walk you through our journey. As I said, we started with one center in 2017. And at that point, the idea was our company, we've been in the dental industry. Chessa Dental Care has been in the dental industry for around 30 years now. It was founded by my parents, Dr. Vijay Leela Ramani and Dr. Anju Leela Ramani. And Chessa has basically created a lot of goodwill in the market. Chessa was the first to launch intraoral scanning in a completely new way in the dental Indian market. And that's basically taking an X-ray inside your mouth digitally rather than a normal film. So for us, VScan was a accumulation of three people together. One is of course Dr. Vijay Leela Ramani. He is my father, and he is the founder and CEO of Chessa Dental Care. Chessa Dental Care is primarily in the manufacturing and trading business of dental equipments. So when we were seeing in 2016, 2017 that affordability is going up, dental treatment is becoming more and more important, people are focusing on their quality of life. At that point, we were sitting across the dining table and it was on a tissue, I think. We had a pen and a tissue paper, and we were like, how can we help the dentists? How can we create an impact? And that's when we thought that we know how these machines work, we know the importance, and we also know the lack of availability. So at that point, I was running the dental implant division at Chessa. Dental implants, if you are not aware, are screws which go into the jaw when one loses their teeth. It's a screw on which a crown sits. So for that's a complex surgical procedure in dentistry. And I've sold over 20,000 premium dental implants in the Indian market. And I realized that dentists buy the implants, but then how many of them fail? How many of them succeed? Do they get the required support that they need to actually perform the surgery? That became a very big question. That became a very big realization that, something is missing. And that basically gave rise to the vision of VScan Diagnostics. That was primarily VScan is my vision in terms of how we can really support the dentists and also create it's a chain of profitability for us, for our dentists, and profit for the patient in terms of the best value that he's receiving from the treatment that he gets. Of course, I had an excellent guide, Dr. Anju Leela Ramani, who's the COO of Chessa, and she guided me on as to how to handle operations, how to scale my team. And implementation was that's my key strength, and I love implementing concepts. I love doing that. So that's where I came in again. So when we look at our journey, we have, as I said, we have touched 17 centers now, and it all started with the lack of affordability and lack of availability, and we realized that that is hampering the complete dental healthcare ecosystem. Our goal is to get to 500 plus centers. And the idea is not just a number, it's a well thought, calculated number based on the number of dentists practicing, based on the number of patients visiting dentists. To be very honest, even this number would not be enough, but definitely this is our first milestone that we are looking to achieve, and we are trying every means to achieve that in a very we're going in a very scalable, very transparent mode of operation, such that any business owner who invests in VScan feels the confidence to not just put one center but to put maybe 10 centers, because that's where the real magic starts to happen. So for me, that's my sitting in Bangalore. I have now only one center in Bangalore. All the centers are outside Bangalore. So being able to get to 17 had a lot of effort in terms of automation of processes, in terms of creating guidelines, in terms of creating a very strong backend support system. All thanks to all of that, we are now associated with over 15,000 doctors. We see new doctors sending cases every day, trying their first OPG, trying their first CBCT. We see so many patients who walk in for their first scan, their follow-up scan. They come to us every 6 months to check. So it's become a relationship now with these dentists and patients, and it's only growing. I think I've basically covered our vision and mission. We want to go to every part of the country where this technology is not there. And this is a personal experience of mine. We opened a center in Hassan. Okay. And in Hassan, around 200 kilometers around Hassan, there is no center. And it was something that the dentists were like, how are you guys being so bold to come to a place where no one has ever thought of opening a center? And we said that, okay, maybe it may be a little challenging at first. Maybe we may have to spread awareness, but definitely we're sure that this kind of an area, it needs the technology. And you will not believe, but our growth accelerated by 1 year for that particular center. In the first quarter, we were touching targets of year 2, because that's how much the technology was required. And we had patients telling us that, God bless you guys. We normally spend 8 hours traveling one way and 8 hours coming back in pain. And, we're holding our mouth. We're just going to get a scan. And today we can just walk in our city, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and we have a scan. So that's where, you realize that what you're doing, it really makes a difference. And if any of you have ever been to a dentist or have had any dental problem, you will yourself know the pain and suffering, the way it hampers the quality of life to have dental issues. Imagine never eating your favorite food ever again. So that's where we come in, and we ensure that we're creating this ease for the dentists and patients to be able to communicate via our center, to have the data of what exactly is happening to the patient. VScan is very well experienced in OPG, CBCT, and lateral cephalogram. They are all types of radiology procedures, and we are introducing blood testing for dentistry and oral screening for precancerous and cancerous lesions. When it comes to our model of expansion, we see ourselves being a holistic dental diagnostic provider. So this is where our future is, and that's the reason I'm introducing that to you all. Our centers come up with a standard look. Though we are a dental diagnostic center, we go in for a very spa sort of a feel, I would like to think. And we believe that it's so, as I said, it's so discomforting to a patient that when he's told by his dentist that please go to a center, take a scan and come back, he anyway is not too happy about it. He anyway feels that I'm wasting more time, or etc., etc., I have to travel. So we have ensured that the interiors, the hygiene, and every part of our center is maintained in such a way that the patient feels happy walking out of VScan. We have a campaign, VScan makes you smile, and that's what we work towards all the time. So currently, this is how we are distributed demographically, and we are in the pipeline of opening our own centers in Gurgaon, Kolkata, Kerala, and Hyderabad. Out of four, most likely three, we should be able to open within the next 1 quarter. And if there are any partners who may be interested to partner in these areas, and even the most remote areas in their, where they feel that they can make a difference, we are absolutely open to partnering. So this is a little bit about Chesa. Chesa was started way back 30 years ago with the concept of giving a good deal to their friends and family. That was Dr. Vijay and Dr. Anju's concept, that let's bring in some good economical products, let's give some good service to the customers, that our friends, our family, because this was something that wasn't really that service was not a concept in dental manufacturing and trading at that point. And Chesa is extremely strong with its service support to the customers. No doubt every company has their ups and downs, but be it any social media, be it any email, WhatsApp call, dentists know that we are just a click away. We are the strongest presence on social media. We are working towards digitally being available for our customers at all points in time. So Chesa is definitely a market leader, so to say, in this industry. We also have an educational platform called Chesa Academy, which has over 5,000 members on Facebook and around 2,000 members on Instagram, giving us a total population of over 7,500 odd dentists. And of course, diagnostics is the wing that Chesa has invested in. It's a separate entity, but it is invested in by Chesa. And of course, we have a huge customer base at Chesa, good market share, good presence, and the reach is all across India. The reason that this is important is because when you open a diagnostic center, the the key is to connect with the dentist in the nearby area. And having Chesa backing us, we have the data of that center, of that area. We have the connects with the doctors. We have the field force who can tell the doctors that, doc, this is Chesa's venture, send your cases to us. And that's what it gave us, a real boost to be able to get more and more dentists. And of course, they stick with us because of the services that we provide to them, because of the quality that we give them. So these are some of this is the we have various products that we deal in, and this is the radiology range. We have CBCT, OPG, intraoral sensor. These are, as I was saying, these are the intraoral. These are x-rays, basically, where the conventional x-rays, portable x-rays, different kinds of, we are very well versed in the field of dental radiology, basically. So there are a lot of numbers on this slide. There's a lot of content on this slide. But what I would like to tell you is that around 30% of the Indian population visits a dentist at least once. And that's 40 crore patients. And we have just 2.8 lakh dentists to support that, and just 600 CBCT machines in the market right now. So the opportunity is huge, because this is not like a CT or an MRI. This brings down the radiation almost 10 to 100 times as what you would experience in those machines. So what happens is, let's say you are doing a CT or an MRI, you can do it once in maybe X amount of time. With CBCT, there is no constraint as such, because the dose of radiation is so low. It helps not just with your internal dental treatment, it helps with trauma or any sort of thing related to the face and even the airway. There's a lot of scope for ENT as well with this particular machine. And it's something that we know how to take care of. It's very important to be able to take care of this machine, ensure no downtime. And that's what we at VScan do. We ensure that our machines don't have a single day of downtime as much as we can, such that the patients are able to get access to it, the dentists are able to get access to it every day. The market is continuously growing. The spending of the Indian market is growing. If you will see on social media or anywhere today, dentistry is a trend. Like, People get veneers, people are doing Invisalign. I'm sure you must have heard of one of them, that it's no longer that, people who are 13, 14 are getting braces. Or at any age you can get an Invisalign done, and you can get clear aligners, you can get treatment done. Almost every person that you turn to, every second person has had a root canal treatment. I would like to tell you that CBCT is extremely important even when it comes to root canal. The reason is, as I said, the population, if the population is completely explored, and if the dentist starts seeing more number of patients, when he spends 1 hour on a root canal today, with the CBCT, that 1 hour can come down to 15 minutes. And it's just a matter of him being able to understand that. And as I said, the awareness is increasing day on day, it's increasing. That's the reason VScan could also scale. So there is a huge population in India. There's a growing middle class population who want to take care of their teeth, who want to take care of their quality of life. And diagnostics has a very important role in not just the curative, but also the preventive healthcare measures. If you get a scan done, if you get a checkup done, you know that probably we can manage it much earlier. You may not have to go in for a root canal, you may not have to go in for a complex procedure. That's where the dental diagnostics has a very important role to play. So this is typically a 2D image, what you can see behind me as well. That's a 2D image. And then these are 3D images, which are slices, and similar to a CT or an MRI. You can walk through the complete dimension of the tissue and see the hard tissue structures, see where the nerves are, how much bone is there, a lot of factors that you gain visibility on. And of course, oral cancer and soft tissue screening is something that we are in the process of introducing in a very big way, primarily because it really affects a lot of people. The awareness is extremely low. Oral cancer is known as the king of all cancers. And the thing is that the mortality with this is much higher if not caught early. So we are looking at very economical scans. We're working with top companies in the world to provide the best possible technology, to be able to scan someone, or to screen their oral cavity. And this would be maybe required once in 3 months, once in 6 months. There are people who come in for tobacco cessation. That means help me stop smoking. There are so many clinics, there are so many therapists that deal in that kind of support to patients. All those patients are ideal candidates for this. All the patients who chew betel nut, gutka, who are heavy alcohol drinkers, who are smokers, who have any sort of predisposition in their family in the past, who are not really taking good care of their oral health. And it oral cancer is not just by smoking and drinking. There's even the HPV virus which can cause it. So sometimes it comes out of the blue, and this is a we are today there is no modality that you cannot walk to your hospital next door and say, I want to get an oral cancer or like a oral screening done for to prevent any issues in the future. It's not even available. So that's what we are looking at introducing, and also spreading the awareness on oral cancer as well. And as I said, blood diagnostics is also a very important part of it. I'm not sure if you have heard of cases where the patient has bled to death on the dental chair, because you do an extraction, and it becomes a hole for the blood to start coming out. So why give it a chance when it can cost someone their life? That's what we believe, that we must approach any sort of medical treatment, any sort of dental treatment in the ABC method, which is analysis before care. Unfortunately, in our country, maybe due to the lack of availability, there's a lot of care before analysis and then correction, basically. But we are looking at kind of changing that to go in the ABC methodology. So, of course, when it comes to this machine, the machine is expensive. It can cost anywhere between 30 lakhs to a crore. And the OPG unit also is, I would not say economical for the dentist. Today, dentists struggle to set up one practice worth 5 to 10 lakhs. So, for them to invest in this equipment, it'll take them at least 10 years of practice and profit and a good practice to really be able to invest in something like this if they don't come from wealth. So, that's primarily one of the reasons that VScan is doing so well, because we are able to really bridge that gap of lack of affordability. When it comes to a single dentist buying a CBCT and having it in house, many times the neighboring dentists do not refer their cases for the threat of competition, and patients also say, my doctor has referred this, what is your suggestion? So VScan is a neutral third party. We don't treat patients, we do not suggest treatments directly to patients, we are not competing with the dentist in any situation. We are only supporting the dentist, and that's very very critical and very very important when it comes to scaling this kind of a enterprise. We can never let our customer feel threatened by us, and that's what we take utmost care of. We ensure that our centers are placed very strategically, where there's, let's say, there's not another clinic right next to us, or somewhere where the dentist will feel that his patients will not come back to him, to the extent of where sometimes if a dentist is insecure for the first few patients, our business development managers move with their patients front and back, such that their patients are coming back to them. Once they establish the trust, then they know that VScan is a safe place and my patient is not going anywhere. So we take care of that channel with the dentist very much, and that's the reason we are able to really give them the right support. Another thing is that for a single dentist, when he invests in this kind of a machine, let's say he is not able to use it commercially, it takes a very very long time to get return on investment, because one single dentist not will not necessarily have that many cases to be able to, let's say, get an ROI even in 10 or 12 years. But we tie up with over 200 300 dentists, and we have almost 50 to 100 repeat customers who keep sending us cases on a daily basis, and that's where we are able to support the dentist and also give it at a very economical kind of costing, and also ensure that we have a good return on investment. So this is exactly what I explained. We have a separate, like, we're completely separate from the others. In a multi-specialty hospital, you go, you wait, you have to take a token, there's the risk of more number of patients, COVID, lots of things. But for VScan, there's no long waiting time. All the patients love that. It's economical. There's no forceful suggesting that do this also, do this also, do this also. It's very clear cut. The dentist is extremely comfortable and he's able to get his work done. So I think with the growing population, and in terms of the population which is going to be, let's say, aging 10 years from now, 12 years from now, maybe when I'm 28 now, maybe when I'm 40, 45, and I need some dental care in that context, our population will be aware. They will probably have the financials backing to be able to take some treatment, and also they would want it. No one wants to look bad today. Everyone wants to have a perfect smile. Be it 50, be it 60, there are patients who walk in for bleaching and various treatments even at 75. My grandmother asks me, are my teeth looking fine, every time before we are going out. So she's almost 90. So I know that this is something where the growing population, the aging population, is getting richer, is getting more aware, and that's where the focus on dentists, dental insurance, everything is booming, and we are just we are a very integral part of the complete dental healthcare ecosystem. So we see that the population is increasing, the affluence is increasing, the demand is increasing, the gap for services is also there, and it's increasing unless we step in and provide the solution. So it's a very very exciting opportunity for us. Here we are placing even one diagnostic center per 500 or 600 dentists, which is actually too little. I think more than 150 dentists is more than enough for one diagnostic center. We will be able to at least establish over 2,000 3,000 diagnostic centers is what would actually be required in the near future. And there are Hardly any. 600 machines which are there in India, out of them around 35% must be privately owned, and the rest 35 to 40 are privately owned, and the rest are used commercially. So there's huge scopes, and these are some of the major cities that we are looking to expand. Of course, any investor that may be interested, we will discuss this well in detail. We will analyze your area, the ability for that area to actually thrive in this current market scenario, with a diagnostic center, with a dental diagnostic center. And we will be offering a basic model which will have the OPG only. We are looking at, tier 3 and tier 2 also in some places to establish OPG. There are over 3,000 OPG machines in India right now. So probably a city like Mumbai may do better off with a high-end CBCT rather than an OPG. But maybe, like Jalgaon or anywhere nearby, or any tier 3 city, they may do much better with OPG. And once the awareness comes with OPG, we can always switch it up and put in a CBCT and use the OPG and open another center in another tier 2 or tier 3 city. So there are a lot of ways that we are flexible to work with people. And then the full service model has a CBCT machine. Now the CBCT machine provides a 3D scan, and it also provides a 2D scan. So it's not required to put in two machines. It's just one machine providing both the type of scans. And um, probably after 1 year or so, we will even open up blood diagnostics and soft tissue screening, that's for cancer, precancerous lesions, oral cancer, to our partners. That this would be an added model. The investment, of course, to get into these models then is very low, and we will be able to support you and absolutely implement these at your centers. So of course we are looking for people. For me, the main thing that I'm looking for is someone who is transparent, someone who is as passionate, and who understands the pain points that we relate with, and understands how important it is to be able to give a patient a great quality of life with regards to his oral health. When you have your favorite food, it gives you so much happiness. And to be able to actually facilitate the dentist to be able to give his patient that happiness is what is totally that's what lets us sleep at night. That's what is what gives us the comfort that we're going in the right direction. We are looking at any sort of entrepreneur, anyone who would be interested to work with us, dentists, ENTs, all of that. We are open to it. And we're also open to the idea is to know that the main idea is to know that we're not doing a sprint. It's not a short thing. It's not a short term thing. It's a marathon. And the ones who start early, the ones who start with that level of dedication and that level of understanding of the business, they are the ones who will be able to succeed, not just 5 years from now, 10 years, 15, 20 years. I know diagnostic centers that have been open for over 30 to 40 years in medical. In dental, we have diagnostic centers that have been open over 10 or 12 years, single diagnostic centers. And I mean, they are it's so we don't even go next to them, because they have established their hold. And we hope to have established our hold 3 years from now in various places, and give the dentist that kind of service that they require. So understanding that it is kind of like a long run game, and the returns will keep multiplying. There's a multiplier effect after the fourth year or fifth year. That's very important in this business. And we do have a center in Bangalore that's come up. It's actually our flagship, and it's going to if once an investor is interested or decides to go ahead with VScan, we will be there every step of the way, holding your hand. For us, VScan is not just giving out a franchisee. It's not at all like that. It's about maintaining the same kind of quality, the same kind of dedication and passion, and giving the same kind of service across India. And that's the reason we support very heavily with regards to administrative guidelines, quality reporting, automation, technology. That's where our strength comes in, and we will be there to really support the franchise partner. And we will also have a 7 to 15-day training program based on the requirement of the partner in Bangalore, where we will cover each and everything. Alongside that, we will also have one or two people from our team constantly communicating. We will work with you all on the targets. We will work with you all every day. Actually, we communicate with the administrative team every day. And what we do already have three investors in three or four investors in standalone centers. So we ensure that they never need to worry about the center. We take care of ensuring that everything is fine in the center, everything is happening. They can do a weekly audit. So it's somewhere where they have parked their money and they've invested, and it's going on giving them returns. It's going on giving them that monthly income. It's a much better utilization of their money. And we ensure that we to over 90 to 95%, we ensure that there is complete ease of working for the partner. There's visibility. We share daily reports, we share analytics, we are creating dashboards for the partners to be able to view everything seamlessly. So everything is extremely current, extremely futuristic. And we would work with you all on the location, on how to tap into the dentists, on what ways to boost the business. That's a second part to this whole thing. There's a base target and then there's a boosted target. There are ways we can do that, and we are working on that as well. Of course, we also are personally very interested in social media, brand awareness, and that's something that we've also been constantly working on. We have a very nice Instagram page, and you should all check it out. And I think I've covered our strengths, the advantage of this business, and I truly believe it's a great opportunity. That's the reason I've invested so much of my money rather than probably just saving it or just putting it into something else. We have loads of money invested in this project because we know that it's doing well and we know it's going to get even better. And most importantly, I believe that I do have the passion and drive to really ensure that we create a very profitable venture and a very sustainable business model that will benefit for the years to come. So this is ViScan Diagnostics, and I would be so happy to work with any of you who are interested and feel the same way and as passionately about providing this kind of an impact in the industry. So thank you all so much for patiently listening to me, and I'll hand it over to Archana or the panel, others in the panel, to really take it forward from here.
Thank you so much, Shalikaji. I would say very, very impressive presentation. And at your age, your experience is very, very rich. And I was also making some points on your presentation. And if you look at diagnostic as an industry at large, this is no longer about detection. And you rightly mentioned it's both curative as well as preventive. And friends, dental diagnostic, they're currently being used to diagnose all the disorders as well as treatment procedures a dentist needs to undertake. ViScan being a credible and India's leading, and I would say most importantly, a very progressive dental diagnostic company, which also has a very fair penetration in all the major cities or states for that matter. And they're also operating in very difficult, or I would say diverse markets. And I heard, Dr. Shalika mention about some of the markets which are very remote and they had a big demand in these markets. So sometimes difficult and diverse markets, and which to me means the format or the business is highly scalable, and they have a lot of standardizations of their systems, which is helping them maybe replicate that into diverse locations. And also the confidence, I would say, of the promoters, which they have put their own investment in already 17 centers and 8 more locations which are coming up. So we're talking about these two models, which is a full service model and a basic model. And Dr. Shalika, I'll request, because we have not talked about the investment it takes, if you want to take a little bit time to explain what model are we talking about, what area does it require, and what is the typical investment it takes to put up these two models, which is basic as well as the full service.
Sure. I'll just open up an Excel. That would be better. Just one moment. All right. Is my screen visible?
No, not yet. It says you've started to share the screen, but we do not see anything on the screen yet. Do you want to relaunch that? Maybe, yeah. I think we can see it now.
Yeah, you all can see the background right now, right? Sorry, there's a little bit of a lag, I think. Just one moment. I'm just going to relaunch it because there's a
Sure,
little
sure,
bit of
sure,
a lag.
please.
All right. So to start with, we are looking at kind of creating something that would be able to give a good return on the investment within, probably the returns in terms of the break even with regards to your operational costs. It comes within even the first sometimes even the first month, but most often we look at it coming in within the first quarter generally. And when it comes to the capital investment, so setting up 17 centers has kind of helped us understand what is required to the T. We know where things go wrong, we know where things where we can get a discount, what we can do to actually optimize and reduce our spending. So I hope my screen is visible now.
Yeah, we can see that now. Maybe you can make it full screen.
Yeah, just one moment. It's just expanding. So basically, we have, we look at this model with regards to two machines that we generally have. When you see any CBCT machine, there is a machine which starts as small as a 10 by 10 FOV, which basically is what is commonly used in the dentist's practice. So these machines are the ones that are at around 28 lakhs, 30 lakhs. And when it comes to a machine, there are a lot of points to consider. One, of course, is the amount of radiation that's being provided. Second is very important is the service support and the backup of the company. How fast we can get the parts if required. What is the kind of availability that we need for our machines? For what is the kind of availability that they have as a company with their strength in India? I'm just going to relaunch it, but I'll in any case just go forward and explain the various factors that we do consider. And the third thing that we see is this a company that's going to allow upgrades for us? And that's very, very important, because being a diagnostic center, we don't want to be outdated a few years from now. So what we kind of look for is a company that allows us to get a combination of all these things. That's low radiation, good service support, and also a lot of attractive upgrade options. So as I said, starting with the 10 by 10 machine, it's very common for people to ask me, why do you not have a 10 by 10 in your center? So when a patient walks in, he may need a scan of a single tooth, he may need a scan of his whole mouth, he may need a scan of a particular area. And if I restrict the machine with regards to the size of, it's called the field of view. That means how much can the machine really access in terms of the kind of kind of area that it's covering in the oral cavity, how much can it really cover. That's why we say we never go in for a 10 by 10, we never go in for the smallest FOV machines. We typically go in for the mid size and the larger FOV machines. So the machine that we have at VScan all across our centers is a 16 by 10 machine, which is actually one of the biggest FOVs on the market. And we started with the concept of let's have the biggest machine, because we didn't want to take any chances in terms of losing any customers or not being able to provide a particular service to the customers because of our machine. It's like when you're anyway investing so much money, there's no point in really compromising on that aspect. So the 16 by 10 machine generally costs anywhere between 50 lakh upwards. Just the machine costs that much. But what happens is, because we buy our machines from Chesa is a distributor, and Chesa transfers these machines to us for the VScan project at a very, very attractive rate. And that's the reason we are able to really get a much better rate and cut down our investment for this overall project. Now we would also be extending that price benefit to our franchise partners as well. When it comes to this machine, the 16 by 10, its MRP is at around 65 lakhs, but it would cost the center only 45 lakhs, where the complete margin, I mean 65 is the MRP, negotiate and come down to 55 or 57, but the whole profit part of it is cut out because we actually really want to see this project scale. Apart from that, when it comes to there's another machine, as I said, which is the second, the mid level, which is the 13 by 10 machine. And this machine is again retail wise, it's almost at around 45, but we do the same. We really cut out the profit part of it, and we keep the bare minimum, which is the import cost or the maintenance cost, bare minimum maintenance cost for the first few years. And we go ahead with providing that machine. So what we've observed is the 16 by 10 machine primarily also covers these areas, which is like the sinus area. And in all our years of operation, it's not really actually required, so to say, for the core dental treatment primarily. It's more of the trauma cases, or where there is an accident, where you go into facial reconstruction, where anyway they most likely may have to go in for an MRI or a soft tissue scan or CT MRI scan, because they need that kind of detailing, not just in the oral cavity but also on the surrounding tissues. So that's when where we saw that the 13 by 10 machine is actually a great option in the franchising model. And this machine brings down the investment of the project by around 8 lakhs. And also it allows us to really be able to give that kind of service that we are looking at. So our top the 16 by 10, suppose someone decides that no, I would like to go in for the 16 by 10 machine, which is the most largest FOV machine. That project would range from 62 to 65 lakhs based on the location that you're choosing, based on the market conditions, based on, for example, let's say a deposit or a rental in Chennai is very different from that in Delhi. In Delhi we pay 2 or 3 months, in Chennai we pay 12 months. So based on how much money we would need, the project costing would vary, like maybe 2 to 3% here and there. When it comes to
just to understand, between these two models, आपका total investment क्या रहेगा? Full service and the basic service. What is the investment we are looking at? And if you can give me a breakup of the investment, machine में कितना investment है? What is the investment needed in the infrastructure? And what area is required, for the same?
Right. So as I said, the investment for the full model, which is this, in the full model also we have two options. One option is where you go in for the full FOV machine, which is the, let's say, full model level A, which has the 16 by 10 machine, which would be between 62 to 65 lakhs. And in the full model only, there is a level B as well, which has the 13 by 10 machine, which would be between 50 to 55 lakhs. So I think 52 to 55 lakhs is where it would sit. So in in this, what happens is that the machine cost is around, let's talk about model B for the full, for the full level service model. That's with the 13 by 10 machine. The machine costs us around 37 lakhs. And apart from that, when we've calculated that we have various other expenses in terms of, there's a printer that is required. It's a specific type of printer to
Sure.
be.
Shalika, so what would be the investment overall? What is the investment in the project? What would that be?
52 to 55 for the model that we are recommending for. That would be the total. That's why we are subsidizing the machine such that actually.
Is it just the investment in the machine? There's no other investment which the franchise party needs to do?
It's everything, the whole model, the whole model of really, so including the interiors to having the launch marketing budget to come to day one. This is the money required to come to day one, where you are absolutely ready with your investment. You're absolutely ready with your center to be able to operate. That's
this is the full service, right? So 55 lakhs is the full service.
Yes.
And the basic would cost how much?
The basic is the OPG only. That would cost anywhere between the machine over there costs around 10 lakhs. Actually the machine that we provide at MRP is 12.5 lakhs, but we are providing it to ViScan at 10 lakhs, and that would cost anywhere between 22 to 25 lakhs. So there are three options. One is 22 to 25, one is 52 to 55, and one is 62 to 65. So these are the three options when it comes to the investment models.
Is there any franchise fees also that you're charging in this model? Is there a franchise fees?
There is a franchise fee in all the models. Everything is included. So this is the total.
How much is the franchise fees that we are looking at?
The franchise fee would vary between 3 lakhs to 6 lakhs based on the model and based on the kind of effort deployed from our end to really set up, the whole thing. And that, of course, that whole part is being handled by Franchiseindia. So once, whatever they believe is a fair franchise fee and what they negotiate with the with the partners, that's what will probably go forward. So this is a breakup. Apologies, I don't know why it was taking so long to open up. And we recommend that the partner does have a contingency kind of a fund to really support in case the first few months take a little time to pick up. We take the first 3 months as anyway a buffer where the whole interiors are happening, the training is happening, and all of that. And then post the first quarter, for us it becomes day one of year one. So that's where it works out. And as I said, we have detailed everything out to the T with regards to salaries, with regards to any sort of thing that's required. And this is for the scanning part of it. If blood is to be introduced and if oral cancer has to be introduced, that is another additional cost, which we will open up the option after a year probably. The kind of area that you need would be typically between 200 to 350 square feet. You don't need more space than that. And also we recommend it to be on the ground floor. That's important for patients to be able to easily access it. Old patients can't really walk up the stairs unless there's a lift. So that's what our primary conditions are, that we look at an area where, let's say, there's not a competing center right nearby. There is a requirement for the technology. And in this range of investment, this is what we have roughly worked out. In this range of investment, I think our investor will be completely ready to start seeing some sort of having his project see the day of light.
What is expected ROI, Shalika? If we can understand typically what are the cost of these X-rays and what is the ROI one can expect? How many patients? Just help us in understanding the the economic model. How many patients would one need in a month to reach that kind of a throughput, which ideal center should do? And also, if you can give an example of your current centers, you've been operating these centers. What is an average, I would say, throughput one basic center and a full-fledged center can give to a partner? Yeah.
Right. So basically, we have seen that everywhere there is a kind of a difference in terms of the number of kind of scans that come in and the number of patients that come in. And that's basically because every area has a different kind of population that it's catering to. So you may have one center that's bringing in 15 OPGs a day and bringing in, let's say, 2 CBCTs a day. And then there may be another center which is bringing in an average of 6 or 7 CBCTs in a day and much less number of OPGs, because maybe the dentists over there, in, like, for example, in Mumbai, many people own an OPG themselves. So they would rather just send a patient for a CBCT. Now, having said that, we have seen that the centers that do extremely well are those where the technology, as I said, is really required. And this is not just one center. 4 of our centers were, the first center in their particular locality or their area to have really been set up, and they are the ones whose growth has been the fastest. So our centers, so one thing that has to be considered is that our centers have come through this whole COVID phase. A majority of our centers were set up in 2019, end of 2019, and there was no thought of COVID at that point in time. And after that, we have continued to grow and we have continued to set up our centers. So each center of ours performs on a different scale, but we look at a revenue of around, when we say that the revenue of the center is at around 1.5 to 2 lakhs per month, that's a good target for the first 6 months or so. And the first 3 months is a little slower, and we will in detail be sharing it with the people who are interested as well, how quarter wise there will be kind of like different targets that we have planned, and they're on the basis of our current centers. So what we see is, typically if we are at an average of around 1.8 lakhs per month by the end of the first year, that's a 1.8 to 2 lakhs per month is the average that we look at the end of the first year. When it comes to the second year, that number goes up to around 3 lakhs, then around 4.5 lakhs, 5.5 lakhs, 7 lakhs, and then it stabilizes at around 7, where we see between 7 to 8 lakhs is a very decent revenue for per month for the center in maybe post year 4, year 5. The thing is that, as I said, my latest centers which we have opened just in the last 6 months or so, they have reached performance of year 2 at the end of the first quarter. So it all depends on how much effort we put. There is a potential to reach 7 lakhs per month even by year 2. But these are absolutely conservative numbers based on what we have experienced through COVID. Our senior centers, which are around 3 years old now, they are crossing 4.5 lakhs. Of course, some months were really bad during COVID when we had to shut down the centers for 1 or 2 months in particular cities. But right now we see that people have realized the impact of CBCT with regards to mucormycosis, with regards to having extraoral scanning as a much safer option than going in for intraoral scanning. So that's when before the market even opened, we have bounced back with a bang. We have loads of patients walking in, and I don't think there's anything that can come in again that would really shut this down, because people have been waiting for 1 year to get their dental treatment. They're in pain. So the opportunity is huge right now to really set up the base. We are looking that by the 5th year, like the break-even point would come anywhere between year 4 and year 5. That's for the capital investment that is being done by the partner in the model with the 13/10 machine. And this is including all expenses. This is the complete ROI. We can look at anywhere around 30% on their 130% is what we see. So that would be 30% on their investment by year 5. And we look at almost a 400% return on investment by year 9, which is, I think, our agreement with Franchiseindia is going to be, for the 9 years agreement, in healthcare, this is generally what works. So I see it as a great opportunity to really, to put in your money in a place which is definitely upcoming, definitely something that's very much in demand, and it's growing. And we are the right people, I think, because we have already scaled in this manner. That's the only reason. I think
that's very helpful. I think we can remove the screen. There seems to be a problem in display. What I would request, and friends, we can have a discussion on the breakup of the investment. I see that being asked by some of our investors who are already there on the platform. Shalika, very quickly, 2-3 questions which I'll take up. Which are the current markets you want to expand? And there are certain markets where you already have your presence in. Would you still be looking at penetrating in these markets? And give me maybe your top 5 or 6 cities, which is the most important, priority markets for you to enter. One. And quickly, I'll take the second question also, because you're running your company-owned stores. Is a conversion, would you, not a conversion, I would say, would you also be exploring a BOT model where you want to transfer the existing centers of your to a franchise partner? So 2 questions, the markets, and second is, would you be looking at transferring some of your company-owned stores to a partner?
So primarily when it comes to the markets that we are looking at anything which is tier 2, tier 3. That's where we are looking at really expanding if any partner wants to expand. Gujarat is definitely one place that I'm very keen to enter. Gujarat and West Bengal is there. There's also Punjab, Rajasthan, and even around UP and MP, that side. So these are the markets where we are immediately readily we want to enter. Another place is Hyderabad, but as I said, we already have some plans for there, but we would be happy to associate with someone to enter there as well. So with when it comes to, like, for example, in Tamil Nadu, we already have 6 centers, but a place like Vellore is one of our target places as well. That's the area is huge. So I would not recommend someone to come in and, let's say, maybe start a center in Chennai, because we already have so many. But if someone wants to start a center in Bangalore, where we have one center, I know that we can plan out a good place for them. Mumbai, again, is an extremely competitive market. I would not recommend that. But let's say a Pune or like nearby areas, Goa, these are the places that we are looking at expanding. So that's around 8 places or so, which I may have mentioned right now.
Sure. And we will also be looking at cities where you currently have a presence. If maybe cities like Delhi, NCR, there's a big potential. Cities like Bombay, you mentioned, very competitive, while there's a potential. Bangalore, you already operate. So cities where you currently have a presence, would you be looking at a second outlet to coming in these locations?
Definitely. Like, I would recommend Delhi. We have huge scope, because I think the whole Ghaziabad area, Gurgaon, these are places which are very upcoming. And in Delhi, there's a lot of dentists as well, and a lot of dentists don't own any OPGs or this technology.
Sure. Right. And Shalika, what would be your ideal profile of partners? Because, and what I could understand, the franchise partner is given all the training, so he need not be from the medical background. While somebody who comes from this background can be an added advantage, it can complement maybe their existing dental services if they are into a business like that. So would you want to comment on the profile of the partners? And I think maybe the last question is on transferring the existing stores to a franchise partner.
So with regards to the profile of the partners, as I said, I would be keen to work with anyone who is interested in this project per se. It doesn't matter to me whether you're dental, non-dental. I'm ready to work with you and help you set it up. And when it comes to a dentist, my only request would be to, like, the dentists themselves should never ever come across as a threat to the customers per se. That's the only thing. Like, maybe we cannot open a center in your building or inside your clinic, because it goes against the principle of ViScan. Apart from that, any medical diagnostic centers that are looking to expand into dental, any kind of people who are interested in anything related to healthcare, we're absolutely we're absolutely happy to work with them. That's the only thing. When it comes to our existing centers, we do have a few centers that we may open up to transfer if the partners are interested in those centers. But that's all on a discussion basis. All of them will not move. So a lot of them will stay with us primarily because we want to keep testing new things and seeing how it works before we really implement it with someone else's money. So that's why we will retain our centers. Maybe 2 or 3 of them we may open up to franchising if there is an interest from someone.
That's very helpful, Shalika. And a couple of questions I'll take. I saw from Ms. Hina Handa. She's saying if you'll be okay, and these are some markets which I see on my Q&A box. So Bhopal is the market where she's wanting to know if that is a location where you will be keen to start. And is that market open, Bhopal market?
Absolutely. We would be more than happy to enter. And I think Bhopal is a very, very good potential area.
Right. Yeah. And I will also take, another question. It is asked by Mr. Saksham Nahar. Again, he's from Bhopal, and he's saying if somebody would like to invest, would the company be okay to operate the operations, take care of day-to-day operations?
Right. So we anyway do take care of the operations. So even though you invest, we anyway are there every step of the way, from the CRM system to monitoring the employees daily, to taking their attendance, to ensuring that they're doing the work properly. We would be there in everything. The only thing is that it would not be a company, it would not be a franchise owned company operated in that model. Typically it would be franchise owned, franchise operated, but our support would be 100%. And that's the reason. So basically our model of returns is a revenue sharing model. We would be drawing anywhere between 27 to 30% of the center's revenue, because we will be taking care of the complete reporting, marketing, administration, etc. The only thing that the partner needs to take care of is the local expenses. Those expenses vary between 70,000 to 90,000 per month, and they are generally fixed. So the advantage of these centers is that you know that I have to pay this much salary, I have to pay this much rent, and I have to pay this much maybe electricity bill, water bill. That's it. There's no major investment, unexpected investments on a monthly basis. We know how the stationery works and all of that. So the expense from the partner's end is more or less fixed. From our end, we will invest in the technology, the quality, the reporting with the association with the radiologists, the reporting, ensuring the systems are in place, ensuring that your center is performing very well. Of course it's a blend of both people working together, but definitely we will be there every step of the way, and we will ensure that your diagnostic center is running very, very well.
That's helpful, Shilika. And, friends, I understand some of you might have missed some part of the presentation. We would be able to explain that, not now. We've already touched our timeline, and we would be able to do so on one-on-one discussion with all of you. I will request that you reach out on our hotline number. We'll put in the chat box. And we also are arranging a discovery day with Dr. Shilika, which we are doing in the coming week, where all of you who are keen to understand and maybe look at a model and also maybe the breakup of the investment and other things that you might want to understand, you can reach out. Our teams at Franchiseindia would also block your time to have a detailed discussion. And anybody, I would say, in the audience who is currently from the cities where they're already operating, we can also request that you can have a visit at some of the existing centers to understand the business model at large. And the date for Discovery Day, Ashna, if you can confirm what date are we looking at, and maybe we can request all our friends to block their slots for that day. We can have maybe a 45-minute slot blocked with all of you, either on a virtual call or maybe a telephonic call. And is there a date?
So yeah, we have decided with Shlika. Shlika, it's 16. You want to announce the date, or we can announce?
Yeah, so I'll be available on the 16th to interact one-on-one, and be rest assured that each and every question of yours has an answer and will be answered to your satisfaction, how many ever times you need it. So I can assure you on that.
Great, thank you so much, Shalika. And before we close, I'll request if you want to give one last message to everybody who's listening to you.
I would actually I actually wanted to play a video of our happy patients, but due to the screen issues, I won't do that. But I will request you to visit our Instagram page or and check it out, because we have all our whole core and soul of our happy customers is there. Our centers, images, our technicians, our team. So for me, this is a project that's very close to my heart. And I can assure you mine and my team's 100% to ensure that your money is taken care of. And since we have put so much at stake ourselves, believe me, for me, it would be not even an effort to really take care of your money as well and ensure that it multiplies. We would be growing together, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to speaking with all of you and actually making this technology and this solution there across India for people to access. And if any of you want a dental scan with ViScan, please feel free to just ping me and walk into our centers. We'll be happy to, even make you go through the whole process and experience it yourself.
Sure. Thank you so much, Shalika. And friends, we'll request you can share all your details, and we'll help you with the entire information that you need to satisfy yourself. And we have put next week, which is 16th of August, as the date to interact. And I'll request Ashna if you can kindly take it over now for your closing remarks.
So thank you, Shalika, for joining in today, sparing time and giving this opportunity to each and every investor who has joined us today. Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am, for joining us today. We would like to thank all the dear participants. Please do reach out to us at our business hotline number, which is 9717683838. We have shared this number in the chat box also. As we have mentioned that we have blocked 16th of August where Miss Shalika will be available for one-to-one interaction. Please do book your slot at the same business hotline number. Also join us at the different social handles platform. We are available at Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. You want guidance from Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am on a different business opportunities. You can get so by joining them at their LinkedIn IDs. Information as well as link we have shared on our screen. And today we are inviting you to join us for our West Bengal show under Bharat Franchise Show. This is the biggest initiative we have taken where our aim is to cover 100 cities in 100 days. And today we will start this session at 7 p.m. We have invited the brands of different vertical. The founders and director would come and showcase, talk about their business model. So do registration either at our business hotline number or you can go to the Facebook page. We have shared the registration link. And tomorrow under our business opportunity of a chai 12 p.m. webinar, we are bringing the brand which offers the retail opportunity for each one of you. Vaspi is the brand where the team from Jaipur would come and talk about this retail opportunity. So do registration today to join us tomorrow sharp 12 p.m. Thank you so much once again for joining in today. Have a very safe day. Thank you so much.
Friends, I'm also putting a Facebook link and some of you have requested for the recording. You can click on this page and I will request all of you to like the page of Franchiseindia Brands. Any new launches that we do, you will get a direct notification. So you can copy the link and see the recording of the webinar. Thank you and a great day ahead.